JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 18th of June 2020, so yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Thursday's afternoon live session where we're going to have a quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, basically the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, now then, so before we jump into the charts, as always, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So yep, feel free to visit us here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top. Now then, a quick update on what's happening here. So of course the figure continues to slowly rise, but of course we'll pick up on this tomorrow. We'll see how it kind of ended up today. So yeah, for now, of course, the fact that the cases continue to rise, kind of, yep, that's not really what we would like to see. However, it is how it is. So yep, let's continue monitoring the situation. Now, jumping into a few indices here. Now, the first one I want to touch on here is the German DAX. I've talked about this since the beginning of this week, and basically what I was saying, that basically we hope that we are not going to see something similar that we had last week, for example, where in the first half of the week the index kind of continued to rise, but then sold off in the end of the week. However, as you can see, the first half of this week, yes, we were seeing a nice uprise as well. However, today we're seeing a bit of selling activity here, especially in the DAX. And although it's not really dramatic here, it's still the index currently is in the red. Of course, we'll continue monitoring this. We'll see where it will end. But as I've mentioned this morning, in a way, from the very short-term perspective, what you could do here is keep your eyes on the low of the 16th of June, which is roughly around the 12,133 territory. A nice good drop below this would kind of could open the door towards slightly lower levels again. But again, this move lower could still be seen as a temporary correction, because we are still trading above this upside support line taken from the low of the 19th of March. So in a way, any move lower could still, up until this upside line, could still be considered as a temporary correction before another leg of buying. In terms of the upside, to get a little bit more comfortable with higher levels, we would prefer to wait for a push above the 12,443-45 zone, roughly around here, and ideally we would like to see a daily close above this in order to aim for slightly higher levels. Dow Jones Industrial Average. Now, yesterday the index closed in the red, and if we take a look at the cash index, we can see that yes, the price is also sliding a little bit. So basically we can see that the cash index is currently trading at around 25,960 zone, which is slightly below yesterday's close. So yep, we will have a little opening gap here to the downside today. However, we would still, for now, we still remain above this upside support line taken from the low of the 23rd of March, and in a way, for now, as long as this upside line remains intact, and as long as the index kind of continues to balance above the 200-day EMA here, then there's still a bit of chance for the bulls to kind of step in here again and drive this one higher. But again, for now, let's be very careful. In a way, the safe way you could play this one out is wait for a push above the current highest point of this this week, which is around the 26,611, and then aim for higher levels. This would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and yep, maybe more buyers could be joining in here. So that's why like I said, let's for now, stay careful. Like I said, we will be getting an opening gap here to the downside. However, we still remain above this upside support line. If this upside line breaks and we see the price falling below the 200-day EMA as well, yes, we could start looking at lower levels. However, to get a little bit more excited about the further declines, we would probably prefer to wait for a drop below the psychological 25,000 zone, and ideally we would like to see a daily close below that area as well in order to aim for further declines. Gold. Gold continues to flirt with this 1723 territory. This is what I was talking about this morning. For the whole week, basically, it keeps kind of moving here sideways, keeps overshooting this the 1723 territory, dropping below the 21-day EMA as well, but then quickly kind of getting back at the end of the day, getting back above this level, above the 1723 zone. So for now, basically, we will stay careful. For now, we will continue monitoring this because, again, as I mentioned this morning as well, in order to aim maybe for, let's say, lower levels and lower levels within the range, because don't forget that we're still for now in the range, we would need to see a drop below the midpoint, somewhere around here, midpoint of this range, roughly below the 1708 zone, and then could aim for lower levels. And in terms of the upside, we would need to see a violation of the upper bound of the range, which is roughly around the 1748 zone, and then could aim for higher levels. But in this case, we would need to see a nice daily close above this, because we don't want to get in the same scenario we had here in May, where we had some false breakouts but never had a decent close above this level. DXY, quick update here, just to kind of show you what I was talking about this morning. What I was saying, that in a way this index was showing signs, some bullish signs, and this is what's happening right now exactly. We are pushing higher. It is kind of aiming for the 21-day EMA right now, which is roughly around the 97.60 zone. In a way, we could even travel further north here, but let's not forget that this move higher could still be seen as a temporary correction, because we are below this downside line, taking it from the high of the 23rd of March. And in a way, yes, we could see this one pushing further north, but again, like I said, be very careful for now. On the downside, in case this suddenly starts dropping below the low of the 16th of June here, or in other words, the current lowest point of this week, near the 96.43 zone, then yes, we will aim for further declines. For now, we will remain a little bit, let's say, on the bullish side, but again, only in the near term. Litecoin. Again, to be honest, not much is happening in the crypto world, so this is just a very quick update on the situation here with Litecoin. So as you can see, initially it was kind of still trading above this upside support line taken from the low the 13th of March, but it got broken. This upside line got broken. However, the crypto drifted lower, found good support here near the 41.41. Let me just quickly double check this one. 41.71 territory, found support there and rebounded back to the upside. However, it still remains below all of its EMAs, but to be honest, we're not going to focus on those for now. We're going to mainly focus on some of these key support and resistance levels. Now, with the upside, we would really prefer to wait for a push above the 50.74 zone and then aim for higher levels, because at the same time the price would be placed above the 200-day EMA, and maybe more buyers could see this as a good opportunity to step in. In terms of the downside, in a way, what we're going to do now is from the very short-term perspective, we're going to keep an eye on this 41.71 zone, and if we see a drop below it, then yes, we could consider further declines, slightly further declines, because we're not going to drag this one too much to the downside. Initially, we'll aim here somewhere for the 37.94 zone, or even slightly maybe below that. However, again, at the moment, it's just stuck. AUD/USD, another quick update here because I've mentioned this one yesterday, and basically I was telling you guys to keep an eye on this upside support line taken from the low the 19th of March. And as you can see now, today it got broken. The pair is now trading below this upside line. However, it still remains above the 21-day EMA, which, as you can see, previously kind of acted as a good area of support. So something to kind of keep in mind, because even, let's say, this week on Monday, the pair drifted lower but found support near this upside, near this 21-day EMA, and then kind of rebounded back up. So if we see a continuation move lower below this 21-day EMA, then yes, of course, further declines are possible. However, as I mentioned before, ideally we would prefer to wait for a drop below the 0.6677 zone, and then aim for lower levels, because this would also place the rate below the 200-day EMA, and yep, further declines could be possible. But for now, it's a very tricky zone here, although yes, there is a bit of negativity here kicking in. However, let's not rush into anything yet. Let's continue observing this, because if by any chance this pair starts pushing back above the 0.6934 territory here, which is marked by the high of the 16th of January, then yes, we could maybe consider some upside here, and maybe a push back towards these highs that we saw here near the 0.7032 zone. Yep, roughly around there could be possible, so we could see maybe a push towards that level. Jumping into a few other instruments like USD/JPY here, for example. Yesterday I talked about this one, and I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this 107.32 zone, because as you can see, it continued to provide decent resistance from where the pair kind of drifted lower, and today it continues to do so, and it's now traveling towards the low of last week, which is roughly around the 106.57 zone. So a nice good drop below this could eventually kind of lead the pair towards our target, which I've mentioned previously a few times, this 105.94 zone, which as you can see acted as a good area of support here back in May, and also was seen here as an inside swing high of the 10th of March. So good potential target here. However, like I said, it would be considered if we get a nice drop below the low of last week near the 106.57 zone. In terms of the upside, we would prefer to wait for a push above the 108.08 level and then aim for higher levels. Quick update on GBP and ZD. This morning I talked about this pair, and everything's kind of working out nicely here. So we are having a violation of this 1.9375 territory. As you can see, yep, the pair now is below it. It's still trading, of course, still trading below this downside line taken from the high of the 15th of May. And this is what I was talking about this morning, that as long as this downside line kind of remains intact, and the pair kind of drifts below this key area of support near the 1.9375, then yes, lower levels could still be met. So of course, we will keep an eye on the today on how this daily candle is going to end today, because currently you can see that the pair is finding some support here near the lowest point of October of 2019, which is roughly around the 1.9312 zone, but if that fails to provide decent support and the pair slides further down, then yep, the next target could be around here near the 1.9115 zone, so which is marked by the low of the 12th of September. Again, like I said, for now, yes, we are leaning still more to the downside, but it will be quite interesting to see how this daily candle will end, and probably I will pick up on this pair tomorrow just to see how everything kind of ended up being. GBP USD, so this one is flirting with this upside support line taken from the low of the 23rd of March, sorry, the 20th of March, and this is what I talked about yesterday and even today actually as well, so that if if this upside line fails to provide support, then yes, further declines are possible, especially if the rate falls below the 1.2363 zone as well. So and then yes, we could aim for levels like the 1.2077 marked by the low of the or actually the lowest point of May, and then yep, we would take it from there. But again, for now, all eyes are on this upside line, although I do understand it's a bit of a tentative one. However, let's see how this daily candle is going to end today in relation to this upside line. If we stay below it, then yep, further declines could be possible. But if we remain above this upside line, well, we will probably take a bit of a neutral stand, because we would still like to see how tomorrow's trading is going to end, because for us to maybe, let's say, get a little bit more comfortable with higher levels, we would like to see a reversal here back above the 200-day EMA, and then aim for higher levels, slightly higher levels. I would need to point that out, because again, we do have some strong resistances here. Euro USD finally. So finally we are seeing a nice good drop below this area 1.1237 that I keep mentioning this whole week. Again, we're having a nice drop below it, so let's of course wait for today's day to kind of end, and where this daily candle is going to end, because if it stays below this, then yep, further declines are possible, and this wonderful kind of head and shoulders pattern could be would be confirmed, and yep, we could then slide towards the 1.1147 zone marked by the high of the 27th of March. Initially we'll target this level. We'll see how it performs here, because if it gets a hold up and then rebounds back to the upside, well then, I mean, yep, maybe it could be a nice opportunity here for the bulls. But again, for now, it seems that the bears are dictating the rules. However, let's see if they manage to keep their or should I say keep if they manage to stay behind the steering wheel by the end of today. So guys, I hope you found it useful. So that's it for me. If you want to catch my video tomorrow morning, my Trader's Espresso, as always, 6 o'clock GMT time. But for now, I hope you have a wonderful trading day, guys. Stay safe, and I'll see you later. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.